Greetings. Welcome to In Conversation with Trevor, brought to you by Heart and Soul Broadcasting Services. I go beyond the headlines and beyond the sensational. Today I'm in conversation with Kathy Mwanza, the founder and managing director of Cake Fairy and Designs, based in Bulawayo. If you enjoy this conversation, remember to subscribe, to like, and share. Let's get down to some work. Kathy Mwanza, all the way from Bulawayo. Welcome to In Conversation with Trevor.
Thank you very much.
It's
It's a pleasure to be here.
It is a pleasure for us to have you here, all the way from Bulawayo.
Yes,
Oh,
going to two.
Gontutu.
Yes.
What a pleasure. Kathy, you did something which I think has a lesson for a lot of people. You worked for First Mutual Life, 2010 to 2018. And then you decided, no, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm going to leave my insurance job and start a business. Talk to me about particularly that decision when you're about to decide, I want to quit, I want to start a job. Talk to me about what that space looks like.
It's never easy. Coming from corporate or when you're in corporate, you're so comfortable. You've got a company car, you've got school fees, you've got medical aid. Like you're basically comfortable, and you are thinking of starting a new venture where you are basically on your own with no one to catch you. So it took quite some time for me, but it's not like I woke up and I was like, I want to open a business. Definitely, that's not how it happened.
Right. How did it happen?
I had just had my baby. She's 8 now.
Right.
And
So that's how old your business is now.
yes.
Yeah.
I was so fascinated with making her first birthday cake, So I was like, since I'm on maternity leave, let me just learn how to, because I could bake from my background, food and nutrition at school. I could bake a cake, but to make it look nice and ice it. So I just said, let me enroll for a class and learn how to just make it perfect and perfect the cake. And I did that because I just wanted to make a cake for my daughter. And I actually enjoyed the class. And even the teacher was like, you know what, you've got something.
Where was this?
This was in Bulawayo.
Which school is this?
It wasn't even at school. It was this gentleman called Hamish Kajeke.
Okay.
He makes cakes
Okay.
for a living. So I just so he used to have like these crash courses. So I went for that. And he was like, you've got something. You must take this seriously. I was like, no, I just want to make a cake for my baby. And I did make the cake. It was beautiful. And the people who ate the cake were like, who made this cake? I was like, I made the cake, And because I was under the community of work, everyone would then be like, oh, my daughter has a birthday, please make me a cake. And initially I would do it for free, because this is a hobby. It's not really something
You've got a job.
I've got a job, I'm happy with my job. But all of a sudden, people started referring each other to me. So and my phone wouldn't stop buzzing. I want to order a cake. Oh, I had to make cakes. And I sat down and I was like, okay.
Something is happening here.
Something is happening.
Yeah.
And the money, the money was good. And I was like, okay, I'm giving 10% of my time to this thing and I'm making this much money.
Yeah.
So if I give it 100%, I'm sure I would grow this thing to be bigger than. So that's how Cake Fairy was born. Not because it's something that I went looking for, but it found me. But I always say it was God's time because I was around 30 at that time. And I had always been that person who's always like, God, what's my purpose? There are people who can sing, people who can dance, people who are good at whatever they do. What is my purpose? And I only got that.
Has that question been answered?
Yes.
Mine? What's your purpose?
My purpose, well, first and foremost, my purpose is to touch lives. My purpose is to help other people, you know. So like now I employ about 106 people.
Wow.
And that's my purpose.
Wow.
Because I know that I've got so many families that are surviving because of me. So for me, that's where I got my answer.
So you spent some time at First Mutual Life, 2010 to 2018, as an assistant regional manager. And what the question I'm asking you is, what were the key learnings from that job? What did you learn? What were the takeaway lessons?
Mainly, I focused on client relations when I was with First Mutual Health.
Right.
And I learned how to handle, first and foremost, difficult and tough customers. I think that grounded me to an extent that even in my business now, when I have challenges with customers, I'm able to address, you know. I also learned a lot of leadership skills because I had a very, very like military kind of like boss.
Right. Did that help you, having a military kind of boss? Okay.
It helped me a lot.
In what way?
Discipline,
Kathy?
discipline, accountability, timekeeping. You know, when you go through it, you feel like, oh, this person is like harassing me, but then later on, you then realize, I learned this. I learned to keep time. I learned to be disciplined. I learned to keep records. And all that time, God was preparing me for my business. So it was, I always say, Mr. Chani is one of the people who made me.
Wow.
Yes.
I hope he's watching and listening to what you're saying.
Yeah.
So, Kathy, are you a military type leader yourself?
No.
No.
Not really. Sometimes when you know there are situations that call for it. Yes. But I've learned how to put my foot down. You know, being a female also, you do have those instances where you feel, okay, my voice is not being heard because I'm short and I'm a woman.
Does that happen a lot?
It happens a lot of times.
Talk to me about that. Talk to me about and what that does to you.
Well, now I'm always on defense mode, and I know how to handle it. But you get funny comments like, "Oh, but you are a woman," or "We can't expect this," or "Is there no man who can come and have this conversation with us?" You know, because I do
about your company.
Yes, because I do a bit of logistics also.
Yeah.
So you've had like, "Is there no man who can come in?" Or even the way that someone speaks to you, you can even feel the tone, like you're being looked, you know,
condescending.
Yes. But I've learned to.
How do you deal with that?
Well, most of the times, I always just say, well, unfortunately, this is the person that you have to speak to, and this is the person who makes the decision.
And how do they react?
Most of the times, they'll be like, oh, really? I didn't. Most of the times, people actually didn't even think that I'm the boss.
I see.
It will be like, you are probably the boss's assistant, and you know. So then when they realize, but I think now many people also have realized that I have a strong character. So they get to, I'm really now on defense mode most of the time.
And you then became vice president of the Insurance Institute,
Yes.
Gwabulawayo.
Yes.
What was your experience in that space?
Well, it was, you know, the institution was something that brought all the insurance companies together. So mainly for me, I learned to network above everything. You know, it was networking and realizing also that you can learn from other people in the same field. It wasn't difficult to lead the team because at that time I think the president was Charles Mlele, who also was someone who was mentoring us. So it was a very good experience.
And then one of your initial jobs was the Optical Centre, where you were practice manager from 2007 to 2010. Again, what I want to extract there are the lessons. What was it like working in that space, and what lessons did you walk away with?
So that was like my job that I did when I was. So let me take you back a bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I had my first daughter when I was 19. And I had just been enrolled in university. And I had to make a decision to either be a full-time student or a part-time student. And because I had to take care of my daughter, I then became a part-time student. So I went to school in the evening. I was a parallel student. And that's the time that I worked at the Optical Centre. And I was quite happy at the Optical Centre. But, you know, you always have something that says, I can be better than this. I can do this. And what was the highest post that I could ever be at that practice? That was manager. I couldn't be the optometrist for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
So your growth then becomes stunted.
Right.
Yes. So that's where I then started having a need to grow and be better, because I had reached my peak. Although I had started from a lower level, I went up to the highest level in the practice. Yeah. And that's high. That's as high as I could get.
And you decided, you felt pushed inside, I need to do something else.
Yes, I need to do something else. But that was also a stepping stone for me. You know, many people always want to start on top. I always say you always have a step, and my stepping stone was the Optical Centre, because that's where I learned anything you need to learn about business, because it was a practice. So you'd still wake up and do your stocks, make sure the place is clean, make sure you've got enough stocks of frames, the appointments for the optician, you know. So that also grounded me to be where I am now.
Was the boss tough?
No.
No.
He wasn't tough.
Preparing you for a tougher boss.
Yes, he was preparing me for a
So,
tougher
Kathy, you
boss.
say you had your first daughter at 18.
19 years.
19. How many kids do you have now?
Two.
Two.
Two girls.
You married?
No.
You didn't settle down.
I was married.
What happened? Talk to me about that.
The business happened.
The business happened.
So when I had my first daughter, I was 19, just going into university, and you know how it is culturally. You are taken to the family of
the guy.
The guy. So that was my first marriage, where I was taken there. I was young, very young. He was 10 years older than me, and it didn't work for obvious reasons. So when I just got
obvious reasons,
the age gap.
Okay.
But also I was young.
Yeah.
I was young, and I really didn't know what I wanted. But because culturally you are taken there, whether you want to get married or you don't want, we don't ask you questions, we just take you there.
Because you're fallen pregnant.
Because I was pregnant.
Who is the guy?
Yes, and he said, okay, yes, I'm responsible. I'm going to take her as my wife. But along the line, I realized I was way too ambitious for this guy. No pun intended.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the second child?
The second child. So after I then got married again after 10 years to my ex-husband now. And we didn't work because of the business. Because before the business, we were fine. And then when I opened my own business, that's when we started having problems.
What kind of problems?
So, like I said, remember the cakes, they just came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
So, and this, I saw, I had a vision, like I can grow this thing. I can make it bigger than what it is. And looking around me, I didn't have a story of someone who's started a cake business successfully. To an extent that when I wanted to quit my job, like my dad said, like, I think, Kathy, that's the most stupid decision that I've ever had. Like, you want to quit your job to make cakes? And even Chronicle headline was like, woman quits job to make cakes. Like, if you Google
like
it.
It's a joke or
it's
something.
Like a joke. You know? So my partner didn't believe in that vision. But I said to him, I want to do this. Will you support me? And he was like, yes. Well, okay, find a shop. And then, but I didn't have money at that time. He was the guy who had the money and well, enough money to open a
I
business,
see what
you
you're
know.
saying, yeah.
And then I found a shop. I'm so excited. And then I'm like, okay, so these are the rentals. And then he's like, no, on second thoughts, yeah, you're not ready to open a business. So no, I'm not going to help you on this one. And you know what that does to you when your partner says
No,
that
I
to you?
don't.
Like,
I don't.
you have no idea.
Tell me, what does it do? What does it do, Kathy?
It's like, then why are we even here? If you don't believe in my dreams, I believe in your dreams. I will push for your dreams. You know, as a woman, we will always support, you know, and you always expect the same support. So I didn't get that. And I was depressed for a short period of time.
I'm going to push you there.
Yes.
Not because I minimize the issues, but because I want to extract lessons for people out there. Were these differences so big that you were prepared to walk out of this marriage with what would happen to the kid, to your child,
No,
and to the relationship?
not even.
Talk to me about that
So-
painful space.
That painful space was there for a short time, but I always just, you know, bounce back. I said, I can do this. I've been working. So with or without his help,
Yeah.
I'm going to do this. So I started, first I started by learning more about the cake business.
Yeah.
So I enrolled in South Africa, School of Weddings. That's where I did my first course.
You actually went to South Africa?
Yes, I went to South Africa.
Okay.
I went to School of Weddings. I went to Prulit. I went to like a culinary kind of school to learn as much about the
Wow.
cakes before I went, you know. So I said, before I do anything, I need to have the knowledge. So for about a year, I was at school. But I was also baking.
Are you at school and married, or you are out
School,
now?
school and married and working.
And a mother.
And a mother and a daughter. So I did that, and I was baking now, you know, more than ever. So sometimes I'll sleep for 2 hours because I have to be at work. I have to make sure my orders are ready. I have to be mom. I have to be wife.
And I suppose you're using a little stove at home, or
My little stove at home. I ended up buying another one, put it in the garage. So I now had 2 little stoves. So I'd bake inside, outside, ice, make sure before I go to work, my deliveries are ready for pickup or for dropping.
my heart is singing as you're talking, because I'm like, wow, what a story! What determination! And I want to go to that place, Kathy. The team are saying we should take a break, so we're going to take a break.
Okay.
When we come back, I want us to go to that place where this determination comes from, and indeed, for you to share with us what the journey has been like. So, hey, at home, please don't go away. Join us on the other side.
I found myself in court fighting for my business.
Welcome back to our conversation with Kathy Mwanza, the founder and managing director of Cake Fairy and Designs. Kathy, your story where we are right now is powerful and amazing. I want for us to dig deeper into that. There's going to be a lot of young, old women listening to your story and say, that's my story. How do you break out of that control? How do you break out of that space where you are unable to follow your ambition, your passion, because your partner is not bought into what you're trying to do? What is the thing that made you extricate yourself from that?
I realized, or I always tell myself, I'm the most important person in my life. And if anything else around, you know, is going against it, I must always remember.
What if somebody watching you says, but that's selfish?
It is selfish to an ordinary person who's outside and who's not going through. The reason why many people go into depression is because they forget about themselves and they're focused on everyone else.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's something that you need to know. You are the most important person. It's you first, and then everything else. And I did have, like I said, I did go into depression because it's not easy. Like, put yourself in my shoes. You got pregnant at 19, you were married, then you're divorced. Now this is your second marriage, and already you are like, how do I live? I can't live. What are people going to say?
That's a tough one.
What is society going to say? My first daughter's surname is different from my second daughter's surname. So how do I live? Do I stay? You have all that going through you, and you stay. I stayed, even though the red flags were already there. I stayed. But, when God wants to make things happen, they happen at His time. And the day that I left was when the business was opened. It's not like I left before or what. Right. But the business, so we fast forward, I'm able to open my shop with my own funds, because I saved up in unit trusts. As when I was baking, like I've never baked before, like I've never baked that much in my life ever after that. But I was able to save. I was working, so I also had got my package, and I sold my car because the car that I was driving I had bought before my marriage. So I sold that. I put all my savings into the business. And when I then said, you know what, I'm opening my shop, and I was like, opening a shop from where? And I'm like, I've been saving. I worked hard. I've been saving. And then he said, how do you save? Saving from where? Because then, which means I was now taking care of everything whilst you were saving. And I said, no, I made sure that I do my part, but I'm able to save. So I did open the shop. We opened it when we're still together. But problems started. The shop is open, and okay, wow, this was a good idea. The shop is full. The response is overwhelming. People are coming in left, right, and center. And you are obviously starting to build up the cash, and you go to the safe one day and there's no money. And you are like, no, there must be a mistake. You call, babe, did you take money from the safe? Oh, yes, I did. Oh, okay. You didn't tell me. Oh, yeah, I needed to do something. And I'm like, okay, but next time just tell me. Okay, sorry, my bad. Does the money come back? No. Oh, okay. So now you're starting again in the business because all the money that you've worked, it's gone. It's not coming back. It's been used for something else. Fine. Fair enough. You're like, it's a mistake. Second time it happens. Third time, it's like, why are you even asking me? That's my money. No, it's not your money. I put my savings. I put everything. This is me. I work here. I live here. You can't. And he was like, no, you can't tell me about savings. Where were you saving from? Okay. And just like that, I first, you know how the procedure, you call your mom, his mom, they talk to him, he apologizes, it won't happen again, it happens again. You call now the men in the family. The men are saying, right? Come to focus on whatever you were doing before this cake business was there. You already have your business. And okay, I'm sorry, it won't happen again. But then it happens again and you keep starting over until you are like, why did I do all that, go through all that for someone to just come and take over? And my dad asked him, but what's happening here? And he says, no, Kathy works for me. Wow. My dad said, no ways.
Meaning he owns the shop or what?
Yes. It's his shop, it's his everything. And my dad was like, no ways. My daughter was working for a multi-million company. She would not leave that to come and work for you. We thought you guys are doing this together. This is a family business. And you know, the audacity for someone to say that to your parent. And that's where I realized that, no.
Did it take courage to walk away?
It took courage, but also it took self-worth.
Yeah.
Because when...
Self-worth.
Yes. Because there was a time where now, because I was no longer putting the money where he will find it, he would come and be aggressive and violent and beat me up until I give him that money. And for the sake of the kids and for the sake of peace, you end up just saying, okay, here's the money, you know. So it was now like a vicious cycle because now it went into being physical. And I sat down with, so I did go into depression for some time because I stopped going to my shop. I stopped until I had to decide who is more important. Is it society? Is it, what are people going to say?
Did you do this on your own? Asking yourself those questions. Who is more important, me, society, or this marriage? On your own?
On my own. On my own. I sat down and I said, you know, and you know, everyone around you, like your family and your friends, obviously, they have an idea of what's happening and they'll be saying, hi, leave. You know, you don't need to go through this. And you'll be like, no, I'm not going to leave. But the day that you leave, I always say to people, nobody tells you.
We are laughing, but we should. It's not a laughing matter.
You pack.
The day you leave, you pack and you go.
You pack and you go. And so I said, so it was the same episode. I want the money, and I said, I'm not giving you the money. Do whatever you want. If you want to beat me up, I'm not. I can't be doing this, starting over every day. It's not sustainable. I've got salaries, I've got bills to pay. The business has to go on.
So you walked out.
I walked out.
Sorry for what you endured. You've never looked back, have you?
I never looked back, but I was not ready for what was coming.
Talk to me about that. Why were you not ready?
Because the following day we got there, the shops were locked.
Okay.
Padlocks, new padlocks on top of. Okay, how do we now? So we go to the police, and the police were like, the lease is under whose name? I was like, it's under my name. Then the police were like, get a locksmith, open up the shop and work. So we did that. We come, like for 7 consecutive days. We would open, he would lock. We would open, he would lock. And I said, yeah. So I ended up, on my dad's advice, he was like, you know, I just get a restraining order.
So you got a restraining order.
So we got a restraining order.
What advice do you give? I mean, I must go there again to somebody to some young person, woman enduring that kind of stuff. What advice do you give to them? This can't be easy.
You have to leave.
Okay.
Because people don't change. You may have hope that this person will change, but
you hoped you would change.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the best thing is at the first red, before it's even red, I don't know what color comes before red, that color, before that flag, you need to run with your life. Because I found myself in court fighting for my business. Like, if you Google it, it's there.
You won the case.
I won the case 3 years down the line. The reason why we've got Cake Fairy and Cake Designs. So Cake Fairy was in court for 3 years. And so on the advice of my lawyer was, you know what, just open another business that looks like this one and move on because this is going to take time. So I had to open Cake Designs, and that's how Cake Designs was born.
Wow. Wow. Let's leave that painful chapter and hoping that the lessons out there, people identify who they are in the story that you've just shared right now. And thank you, by the way, for your willingness to be candid and to be vulnerable about something as personal as this. But there are lessons there for a lot of people.
Yeah.
My question then is, so you now have, you're the managing director of Cake Fairy since 2018. You're the founder and director of Cake Designs since 2019. You're the founder and director of Fairy Cafe. I have problems pronouncing that name since 2022. Tell me, what are the core ingredients of this business? How does this business work?
So Cake Fairy is the cakes, right? That's where it came from. But when I opened Cake Fairy, remember I was just coming from employment.
Yeah.
So I wanted, first the reason why I opened Cake Fairy was I want to wake up and go to work. I don't want to work from home like all the other bakers because I want to dress up and go to work. So I then said, well, if I open Cake Fairy, I will sell the cakes, yes. But what if there's no business on the cakes? How am I going to balance and be able to pay my rentals? So I then made sure we've got the cakes. Then I was now selling the ingredients and also teaching people how to make cakes. So the shop then became like a 3-in-1 kind of like shop. So that's Cake Fairy. Cake Designs came after Cake Fairy, but mainly focused on the ingredient side. So we supply anything cake. We are your paradise. We specialize.
So what is this? Flour?
Flour, eggs, sugar, the sprinkles, the butter, the chocolate, anything. Cake boards, turntables, anything. Like we walk into our shop and you can come up with your cake.
Wow. Packaging?
Packaging, everything. The stickers, the ribbons,
Wow.
the nozzles. Yes.
You've got all that. You are now all across Zimbabwe or just in Bulawayo?
I'm in Bulawayo, Harare, and Gweru.
Wow. Wow.
Yes, is Cake Designs.
And how many shops are we talking about?
For Cake Designs, we are talking about 4 shops.
Okay.
Then we've got Cake Fairy, and then we've got the restaurants, which are the Fairy Cafe.
How many restaurants?
There are 2 currently.
Okay, where and where?
One at Joina City
Okay.
in Harare, and then one in Bulawayo at Timbali Mall.
Wow. Well done, girl. Well done, girl.
Thank you.
So, am I right that the start is from your Unity Trust investments?
Yes.
Whilst you're at First Mutual, and then you start selling cakes on the side with using 2 stoves.
Yes.
That's where it all starts.
That's where it all starts.
Wow.
Yes. Unfortunately, for funding, it wasn't that easy because this was a business coming from...
Yeah. You've shared the story.
Yes, from nowhere. So funding, even from the banks, we couldn't meet the criteria because we were a startup.
So you didn't have any bank funding at all?
No.
No.
My first funding came when I opened Imbali Mall, Fairy Cafe Imbali Mall, from CPZ. Wow. That was my very first loan. Yeah, but all along it's just been what I call organic growth, where you keep reinvesting in your business. So instead of using any profits, you just keep putting it into the business. Yes, that's what I was doing.
Wow. Let's go to where you were born. I gather your mom was Malawian, your father was of Zambian descent. Very interesting upbringing. My father was Zambian descent. My mother was Ndebele. It's a very rich background to come from.
I'm
in
a
terms
hybrid.
Of, exactly.
Yes.
In terms of identity, in terms of, what's that done to you?
My dad was Zambian, my mommy is Malawian. But because my dad is Senga, my mom is Tumbuka. So there were 2 different languages.
Yeah.
So sometimes my mom would speak to you in Tumbuka, then my dad would speak to you in Senga. And yeah, but we grew up speaking English, Ndebele, and then I speak a little bit of both. Yes, but mainly our culture was Zambian by default.
And you are in Bulawayo. Talk
Yes.
to me about being in Bulawayo and being this hybrid.
Well, I identify as a Zimbabwean, so for me, I grew up, I'm born and bred in Bulawayo. All of my schooling I did up to university level. I did it in Bulawayo.
Which schools did you go to?
I went to Baines Junior School. Then I went to St. Columba's High School in Makokova. And then I went to NUST. That's where I did my undergrad and my master's.
What did you major in? What subjects did you do?
Marketing.
Marketing.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Any particular reason, Kathy, why you went for marketing?
I went for marketing because I feel like I'm a person who's able to, talk to people, interact.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. You talk very well.
I love talking.
Yeah.
And those people that believe that they can sell anything.
Yeah.
So I just needed, the knowledge then to assist me, which is why it's evident in how I've been able to grow my business. I don't think I could have grown my business to the level that it's at now if I didn't have my marketing background. I think that played a huge role.
So you think marketing has been the biggest ingredient
Yes.
that explains your success?
Yes.
Has technology helped you in any way as far as your business is concerned?
Yes, very much.
In what way?
Because mainly if you look at even social media right now, you know, we are able to serve the whole world. Like anyone can order a cake from us, you know, from wherever in the world.
The diaspora market is coming to you for family functions.
Yes, and they're able to pay online, and they're able, you know, to get the service from us. But also getting the word out there. You know, I think social media has been very powerful for us. But also the systems for me in terms of IT systems, because for you to have a business, you need to have proper systems. Yeah. So technology, and one in Harare, one in Bulawayo, one in Gweru. You really need a
How
a
do you
proper
manage your
system.
time with the spread of the business? Bulawayo, Harare, Gweru?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I even had a conversation with my daughter. I say to her, you know, like...
How old is the
youngest one?
The youngest one.
She's 8.
She's 8. The eldest is
18.
18.
Yes.
Wow, what a gap.
Yeah, so I always say to them, you know, Granny will come for your sports and sometimes because I can't, you know, I had to have the conversation because I can't be there, you know, things like school run, I can't make it for them. But when I can, I do them. But I've always had that conversation because people think you can balance it all. You really can't.
Given, we'll have to revisit that place. Given your heavy schedule, okay, I'm being told we need to take a break. We're going to take our last break.
Okay.
When we come back, I'm going to ask you this question. You're young. Given what you've experienced, is there room for a marriage again? Don't go away. Come back and join us after the break. We'll see you on the other side.
I have lost some money.
Yeah.
Yeah, that has humbled me.
So I asked you, and you laughed. With all these problems that you have had, with the businesses going, the kids, is there room for another marriage?
It depends.
It depends.
I think someone who will be able to support the strong character that I have, to support what I already have going, you know. Yeah, probably. I really don't want to be old and alone.
Yeah.
Because the girls are going to go, you know, and start their lives. And I don't want to be that kind of mom. Yeah. But in God's time, you know, I believe God has got a plan. So, but that person just has to be a person who can support and be able to, I don't know how to put it, to deal with the kind of person that I am, my character.
Your ambition.
My ambition, and not be threatened by it.
Absolutely, that's
Yeah.
the thing. Thank you again for being vulnerable and willing to answer that question. Talk to me about what's the failure that has humbled you the most?
Well, I have lost some money.
Yeah.
Yeah, that has humbled me a lot. I would say you get to a point where you make a bad decision in business and it affects everything. But I think also just having the hope that you can bounce back and start afresh, that's what keeps me going. I keep moving forward.
Is there a part of your life where you want to either press rewind and delete?
No.
No. Talk to me about why.
Because I believe in everything that you go through, there's a lesson that you must learn. And if we are to delete, and then I lose a lot of lessons along the way. I know someone would say, oh, someone in my shoes would say, I wish I hadn't met my ex-husband, but then I would not have my beautiful daughter. So there's always something good that still comes out of a bad situation. There are lessons that we must learn, and
beauty from ashes.
Yes, beauty from ashes, and you learn, and you don't make the same mistakes.
That's the most important thing,
Yes.
isn't it? Coming to where your business sits right now, what is the thing that your business needs most for it to scale up, or you're comfortable with the way it is?
No. We really want to grow. We have a very big vision.
What's that vision? Share that vision with us.
Our vision?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, this is on camera. But our vision is to be bigger than Chicken Inn.
Okay.
Chicken Inn, Insco.
Yeah.
Those people are living my dream.
And you're coming for them.
And I'm coming for them,
right.
But that's the vision that I have, to have Ferry Cafe all over Zimbabwe, Cake Ferry all over Zimbabwe. We sell a lot of cakes. And I believe with the right support, with the right funding, we can have Cake Ferry all over Zimbabwe.
So I gather you, in Harare, you are where? Joiner Center?
Joiner City.
Joiner City, sorry.
Yes, Rhodesville. We have another branch there. And then in Gweru. And then Bulawayo, we are at the Cake Ferry shop. Then we have our bakery, which is in Dongrove in the Industries. And then we've got our restaurant, which is at Imbali Mall. We are going to be opening another 2, one in Harare, Ferry Cafe, and then another one in Bulawayo.
And how many people do you employ, by the way?
Currently, we've got 106 employees.
Wow.
Yes.
How do you motivate yourself? Where is the place that you go to pick yourself up and keep going? Because you're a very tough lady, but I'm wondering, what keeps you going?
Well, my happiest place is my bakery. That's my passion. But my day would start with the gym.
Okay.
That's where I distress. Yeah. So
you have a daily routine.
Yes,
that
I have
is,
a routine.
Talk to me about that daily routine.
So my day usually starts 4:30. I get ready, go to the gym. I do like an hour in the gym, and then.
What do you do in the gym? Is
mainly
it cardio,
strength. No. Strength training.
Okay.
Yeah, I love the weights.
Okay.
Yes, strength training mostly. I do love boxing as well.
Okay.
And then from there, usually the night before, I already know what I'm doing today.
The following day.
Yes. So I then now just follow my list of what I'm supposed to do. If I'm at home, I do my school run. I always love the conversations that I have with my little one. My older one is getting ready for university. So, then I go to, firstly, my first stop is always Cake Ferry, the Cake Ferry shop. That's my flagship brand. That's the one that is the cash cow. So most of the energy goes there. Then I go to the bakery, and then I go to the restaurant last.
What do you get the most from your children?
What do I?
What do you get from your children? I mean, what's what energy do you get from them?
Okay, the little one.
Yeah.
Well, she always keeps me on my toes because I need to work hard because she needs to inherit a very big business.
That's great.
Yes, because that's her legacy. The older one, she's on the quiet side. She's a bit reserved because I feel like also when I had her, I was all over the place. I was young and so we struggle to connect most of the times.
And she's a teenager too.
She's now a teenager. And I always want to tell her what to do with her life. Yes.
This is my life. Leave me alone.
Yes. But she's one person who always encourages me when I'm going. She always says, "Mom, you've been through worse. You know, this is nothing." Even when I complain, I'm like, "Oh, our sales are low." She'll be like, "Ah, that's nothing." You know, so she keeps me going all the time.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Who has been the biggest influence in your life?
I would say, God.
God. Wow.
God. I feel like He's carried me, and He's taught me some tough lessons.
Any one lesson that you can share that God has taught you?
God has taught me that I'm the best.
Okay.
That I'm the best, and that if I put my mind to something, you know, I can do it. I remember when I was opening Ferry Cafe Harare. That was my first restaurant. I'd never had a restaurant in my life. I remember the previous day before we opened, I prayed, and I said, God, when I open this place, I want to shake Harare. I want to shake somebody. You know, I want people to feel, I want it to be just like an ordinary restaurant. And He did that successfully for me.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Kathy, having gone through what you've gone through in your 2 relationships, you've got 2 girls.
Yeah.
What do you tell them about marriage? What are you going to tell them about marriage?
I always tell them that marriage is a gift. You know, it's a gift. It's either you have it or you don't. And people are different. You meet someone who loves you, who appreciates you, and that's what is important. Yeah.
You play golf, eh?
Yes, I do. I play golf.
What's your handicap?
No, my handicap is still...
It's still handicapping.
It's still there, 36, whatever.
Yeah, but you
play once
enjoy
in a while.
the game.
Yes,
You enjoy the
yes,
game, yeah?
yes.
What do you get from golf?
Most of the time, networking for me, and also just being out there and blowing off the steam. I always loved going to the range.
Do you have a role model, somebody that you look up to, somebody who's inspired you?
Yeah, I have a number of women that have inspired me. I have there's a lady in Nigeria that I was following for a very long time when I started my cake business.
Yeah.
And it had always been my dream to meet her and interact with her and see how she's been able to successfully run a cake business. And last year, I was able to meet her.
Wow.
And bring her to Zimbabwe.
Awesome.
Yeah. And I realized that everything that I was seeing and everything that I imagined her to be is actually
what she was.
What she was. And yeah, that really encouraged me.
Wow. Kathy, thank you so much for being vulnerable, being candid. Your story is going to help quite a lot of people. Do you read books? Do you love books?
Yes.
You do?
I do audiobooks though.
All right. I'm going to ask you now to share 3 books at least with our audience, the people that follow this show on a weekly basis, love books. What books would you want to recommend and why?
Firstly, the most important book that a person should read is the 5 a.m. Club.
All right.
That one by Robin Sharma. That was my favorite. It's actually my go-to. And then Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill.
Yeah.
That one, it teaches you to manifest everything that you want into life. And lastly, I still have got 2 that are almost on the same. E-Myth Revisited.
It's called what?
E-Myth. Yes, E-Myth Revisited. It's more about, it's a marketing book.
Okay.
But it talks about having systems, the importance of systems in your business. And then the other one is Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing those books. I must ask you this last question. What are your fondest memories about NAST? I hear a lot of good things about NAST.
NAST, you know, learning with different people. Like when we went to invest at that time, we had people coming from all over Zimbabwe, from NAS, and we learned so many cultures. But we also had so many relationships that we built that we are now using now.
Beautiful.
You know, from coming from NAST.
Yeah.
But yeah, NAST is my go-to. I actually sit on the advisory board
Yes, you
for
do.
the graduate school for
yes,
NAST.
You do. You actually remind me that you've received quite a number of awards. But for me, when I looked at your CV, that's a big thing that you've done there.
Yes. Yeah. So NAST is my home. Yeah.
Kathy, thank you so much. We wish you all the very best, and we look forward to you realizing your dreams of going bigger than somebody that we won't mention here. Otherwise, we'll be giving them free advertising.
Yes.
But we wish you all the very best. We wish you all the very best, Kathy.
Thank you.
And remain resilient. You're building something amazing.
Thank you so much.
And your story is going to inspire quite a lot of people.
Thank
you so much. Remain seated there and allow me to address our viewers who are all over the world again to share the exciting news. People, thank you. We are at 60,000 subscribers. Isn't that amazing? Time to celebrate. 8.9 million views. That's awesome news. And it's all because of your support. Remember, we are out on YouTube every Monday, 7 a.m. Central African time. And to ensure that you don't miss out on any of these quality conversations like the one I've had with Kathy here, I invite you to subscribe, to like, and share. We've gone a step further and put all our shows on our website. Go to our website for podcasts and for videos for your listening and viewing pleasure. Until next time, cheers to you all.